Hola!
Bom dia!
And welcome to the Q&A Sunny Saudade Project.
Yeah, our first ever one.
Sit here. Yeah, we'll sit here. One here, no? There we go.
Boom.
Still working. Boom. See it, say it, sorted.
Are we going for an interview?
Yes. Answer all the questions. Tape recorder. Not sponsored by the wine bottle, as much as I keep showing it up, guys, believe it or not. Right, guys.
Cheers, babes.
Cheers, babes. Yay.
It's really surprisingly warm, isn't it? Like,
A little bit, yeah.
and I was like, oh, I really want to film it outside. It's supposed to be pretty cool but sunny. We had a thunderstorm pass about half an hour ago, right behind me, and it's humid as hell, and I'm in jeans and a long t-shirt, so that was silly, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right. How we get started?
Yeah.
With the Q&A?
All the animals are by us, by the way, so if you hear any random noises or digging, sorry. And we are right in front of the train line, so you might have to do a few pauses.
Absolutely.
So some of these are ones that we just get regularly, and I've added in because if you miss like our first few videos, you might not know some of them, or it's just something that keeps popping up. So I've put those in, plus the ones that people have sent in. Thank you to everyone that did.
Thank you, guys.
Especially Handmade by Nat stuff, who sent us in 5 or 6, I think. Cheers, gal.
Thanks, Nat. So, how big is the land?
It's 4.7 hectares, aka 47,000 square meters, which we are aware is an insane amount. Our original idea was we were going to go for somewhere a lot smaller, but we couldn't turn it down. The price is so good.
We got a nice deal for it, and yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, if you can, why not? I mean, it's a lot of work. We're getting there. We're getting better every year. We will get better, and we'll know what we're doing.
Exactly.
Also, a handy thing about our land being this size is we always wanted to do some kind of like glamping situation. And with this land we can build up to 2,000 square meters, and I think with what we've already got is only like 200.
Yeah, so you're allowed to, it's normally 5 to 10%, so
yeah,
that's
so
quite a lot.
We plan to build some cabins at some point.
Yeah.
That we can make some money off of, which we'll also go into in a bit later. Yeah.
How much does it cost? So,
or did it cost? I think I was supposed to.
Yeah, it's okay.
I didn't need to get a moment.
So we got the whole land, the whole deal, everything was 45k, so 45,000 euros for the land, and yeah.
It was cheaper because the locals were not willing to buy next to a train line. We used to live in southeast London, relatively close to a train line, above a 24-hour McDonald's, where people would regularly come out the pub and have fights.
Yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning there were fights.
A very, very quiet train line was never a problem for us.
The original price was 65,000, but she reduced it because of all the things that Charlotte has just said, you know.
Yeah, no local would buy it, but luckily for us, we were quite happy to take that on.
The only thing that we had to pay a little bit was to fix the roof in the lounge, but that wasn't that expensive anyway.
That was 6.5, I want to say.
That was 540.
Was it actually?
Sorry, 5,040.
Oh,
so yeah. Next one. What's your favorite season and what is the weather like?
Hot.
Yes, it was.
Summer was very hot, and this summer wasn't as bad as last year. I remember last year in the Elgarve, it got to like 46.
What did it get? 46?
Not in the Elgarve, but in this area, it got to around 46. In the Elgarve, I think it was about 44, because you have the sea breeze, and that was killer. It only got to about 42 here. 42.
Only 42
Only
degrees,
42.
guys. Yeah.
Which is still pretty unbearable, but we really dove into going into the Praia Fluvials and finding ways to keep cool, so it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Favourite season?
I would say good old autumn.
Yeah.
You know, when the colours start to change. You know, right now the scenery is it's very like, I would say
pretty dry, but
dry.
still quite green.
Yeah, and it's gonna change into like the brown and the yellow colours, and it's
like,
gonna be great.
Late October and November, it's just
it's
stunning,
breathtaking. Charlotte's gonna do many reels on the different seasons and everything, so it's gonna be fun.
Also, because it's too hot to really do anything in the summer, I'm really looking forward to like this autumn, going out for like big hikes in the mountains and exploring all the places we just didn't dare in the summer. Noodles! Noodles!
Come on, Noodle!
Come here! Noodles!
What a rascal.
Come here! He's coming back.
Also in autumn, it is the perfect season to work on the land because in the summer you can't because of the fire risk, and it's the right temperature. In spring it can be a little bit too hot, and there's some days that you can't work on the land because of the heat.
April, we definitely got further behind in terms of work we wanted to do because it was unusually hot in April. It was like 35 degrees, which is the same as like most of summer.
I know.
And then we had like a really weird late wet season. But I will say like an honourable mention to like early spring, like March, because you've got like the cherry blossom season, and all around here is cherries, so it's really, really gorgeous. It almost looks like snow because they're like very white cherries in this area. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Really like that, and a nice temperature again. So.
Favourite part about living in Portugal / worst?
I know the worst because I was thinking about this when I was writing it down.
Right. Okay.
Portugal. What is up with your driving? What is up with your driving, my dudes? I can't. It's so dodgy. Oh, have you got a wasp in your face?
I've got a fly.
Oh, how rude! Yeah. But yeah,
the amount of times that I've been passenger princess, right, and she's moaned at me for not indicating, for speeding, for not doing the corners every single time that we leave the house to go into work. There's always something going on. Yeah.
For sure, every single time I drive, there will be someone in the middle of the road, and I have to drive Carlos into work almost every day, and the road we have to go is over like the side of Mount Gardunio. It's the N18. It's like really steep, and it's like almost like a cliff face on some parts, and they will drive in the middle of the road and wait to the very last minute to get over. It's crazy. Lucky, do you mind not scratching my feet, my dude? Yeah, I hate that. I'm gonna sneeze. That was a good one.
And now for the best parts.
Well, you haven't said your worst bit.
Oh, my worst bit about living in Portugal. Well, I mean, I guess just the heat in the summer, honestly. It was a bit much for me. I am used to being warm, but when it's so hot that you can't do anything and you just kind of have to lay indoors, especially for us because our land is massive. There's so much that we want to do.
It was very frustrating. I really wanted to get in the garden.
And also, I only had one day off a week. So on my days off, I just want to chill and relax. And Charles was like, let's go and do all this stuff at
the
once.
Praia Fluvial. Yeah, but it's too hot to do anything here. You've got to go to a Praia Fluvial. That's one of my favourite bits.
Is that one of your...
Yeah, for sure.
Going into the indoor beaches.
I think best bit is like the nature and the views, and like from someone that used to come from like southeast England where there's nothing like that, and we can drive like 10 minutes in any direction. There'll be like some beautiful old village, or there'll be a Praia Fluvial, waterfalls, huge mountains. Like the Serra da Estrela is the biggest mountain on mainland Portugal, and we see it every day. And we just look at it and we're like, damn, look at her go, babes.
Best thing, the food, man. I love going to the restaurants.
Oh yeah.
There's a specific one that we go called Hilhas in fundão. It's really cheap.
Oh my God, I
really
love
local. They give you, so it's called as telhas because they serve the food in a tile. Tile means telha, and it's like you can have steaks the size of it. They don't give you any salad. They give you rice. They give you fries / chips, whichever UK like America where you're from. And yeah, the food's amazing, really cheap, local.
So much meat,
yeah.
like
It's
mountains.
a lot. Charlotte always has to bring her some back.
I bring it
she
home
can never
for like
finish
a
it.
treat for biscuits, like because last time I ordered a steak, they gave me 2 steaks this big. It was insane. Like the portion sizes here in Portugal, they don't hold back, and it's still really cheap. Although one thing I will say is a negative about food, which I do miss about the UK, is
negative.
Just hang on, you'll get it. It's like not having access to like ingredients from around the world as much. Like everything is very much Portugal, which is a great thing in some ways, but like I love making Asian food and I can't get a hold of most ingredients here, so that can be frustrating.
I think what most people will do, they will drive to Lisbon or Porto and they were like stuck up on those things. But for us here, it's not as, you can't get all these things in the small town. There are some things that we can get in Aldi, some you can get in Aldi, some in Lidl, some in Pingo Doce. So we have to go from shopping to shopping things.
Like the other day when we met up with Frankie Off Grid and Project Portugal, like we're having a laugh about how I specifically went into this one shop because I know I can get udon noodles and things like that there, and I can't get them down this way.
The only place to get them is in the continent in thingy.
Covilhã.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right? That felt right.
Covilhã.
Oh, it's a really hard name to pronounce. This fly is really... That's my wine. This next one I get asked a lot. So Carlos is going to take over once I say the first bit. How easy / what was the process like for Charlotte to move to Portugal? If you didn't know, Carlos is Portuguese, I'm English. And so when we get asked this question, I never really know how to reply to it. First of all, because it's quite long a process and complicated. And my sort of my process is very different from most people who want to move to Portugal. Because I'm married to Carlos, I have to go for a different visa than I imagine most of you guys would want.
So essentially, and again, it gets complicated because of Brexit, the laws have changed a lot. So normally what you do, so in Charlotte's case, we moved over to Portugal and I got a job, Charlotte got a job. Basically, there's like two essential things that you need to have, which is like the equivalent to the tax number. Like in the UK, you need to get one in Portugal. So we got one of those for Charlotte when she arrived. The next thing is a social security number, which we got for Charlotte as well. Again, these things always take a little bit of time. Getting the tax number is quite quick. You just got to go to one of the financial offices and you ask for one.
That was definitely the quickest bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can go in, do it in one day. For the social security, you have to book a meeting with someone and you have to have like a bank account and you have to have all of these information and you have to have a letter of address. So for Charlotte's case, she got she started a Vodafone contract and then she put her address on the Vodafone contract so that she could then use that information to start a bank. So small things like that.
And I don't know what it's like now, but at the time I think Santander was one of the only banks we could open with. Yeah. Just because it's an international bank. Yeah. And they have branches in the UK, so it was easier to open one with them.
One thing that I do know is that before, if you had an English passport, you could open a bank account.
I think it's changed.
But it's changed now where you can't. So you have to apply for the residencia first, and then you can open a bank account. Yeah. Now, Charlotte's circumstances were okay because we basically got married in the UK. We went into one of the place where you get the citizenship card, because I have one because I'm Portuguese. So we went to apply for her residencia. It's in the Loja do Cidadão, which is you can find these like all over the country.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and you have to book a meeting Okay, but at the time, the only place that we could get a meeting was around here.
Well, even further away, near Aveiro, in Espinho,
Espinho, yeah.
which is on the north of the country, and at the time we were living in the Algarve.
Yeah, and we had to, and the only meeting that they had available time-wise was like in 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
To get the actual card, but after all that, Charlotte got the card and it was great. So she's got the card, the tax number, the social security number. That's mostly it.
Yeah.
You know, to get the residential card, because I'm married to Charlotte, it was only 15 euros that we had to pay.
Yeah,
the rest is free. Now I do know that I don't know currently what's the best option, but you can get a visa. You might have to get a visa to come to Portugal.
Yeah, I think what was it, like the golden card visa? Golden visa.
Yeah.
That's been taken away now. I think they've stopped that because places like Lisbon and the Algarve have become overpopulated.
Yeah.
And areas like this, there's still loads of abandoned houses. So all those trendy places, there's too many people living, so they wanted to stop that.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, from my point of view, I was really stressed about it. And it sounds very complicated, and if you don't speak loads of Portuguese, definitely bring someone who brings Portuguese with you. But honestly, if you turn up to, what was it, the Loja Cidadão, just turn up and be like, we don't know what we're doing. They will actually point you in the right direction. Someone there will be able to tell you what's the best visa for you, or maybe even just go to like your local Portuguese embassy, because like it took like way longer than we thought. There's this whole thing where you're supposed to get it done within a certain amount of time. But what we found out is as long as you can show that you've got your next appointment booked, it's not really a problem.
Yeah, like...
Because the queue was like a year long or something,
it wasn't,
right?
Yeah. Like, if you're applying for something, as long as you can show the Portuguese government or any of the entities that you are applying for these things, people are quite chill with it. Okay, next one.
What happened to the Elgarve project?
Okay, so... if some of you might be aware, if you started watching our channel from the very beginning, we want to say thank you so much for everyone for sticking us.
Thanks for sticking around,
from
guys.
The beginning, from the cringy how to make Caldavid video and all the things. That was a great one.
It's the only video that's still got like under 100.
Yeah, it's got, yeah, bless, yeah. The original plan was to buy a property that was in my family's name, and we were going to build on it and develop it. Essentially, it became not financially stable for us to invest on the land. Even though the land would have been cheaper than here, we would have had to spend a lot of money having the house built.
I don't think the land would have in the end, because the price in the Algarve's risen.
Yeah, the price was going to be a lot more. The land would have been cheaper to do it there at the time, but we would have had to spend money on building your house and putting your electricity, having access to water, and you know, as of right now, the price of things in the Algarve has gone up. It's insane. It's crazy. So Charlotte was doing some searches and she found this place online.
Yeah.
And it was great, you know. Obviously it is something that belongs to my family, but the two of us just decided to have our own land and to have our own house, you know.
Own thing.
Do our own thing, and here we are essentially, you know. So
yeah. Very stressful, but I'm glad we made the decision. Yeah. How close / far are you to amenities? Far. Well, so most things we have to drive to. There is 2 little cafes within about half an hour's walk. One is at the bottom of this mountain. The GoPro never does it justice, but I was working it out the other day, and it's at least like 150 meters between us and that village, if not 200.
Yeah.
Because I've got an elevation tracker on our thing. I'll track it. Actually, I should have done
really?
this. Yeah, I've got an. So I will find out what it is from our land to there, and I'll put it on the bottom of the screen or something.
But yeah, we have those.
Yeah. It's a steep walk up.
Mate.
Yeah.
So we have those 2 cafes essentially. One of them is a post office,
Yeah.
and is a shop. So
Yeah.
we get our like cheap wine and some things that we need.
Other than that, if we want to do like a decent shop, get balanced meals, things like that, we have to either drive into Fundão or Castelo Branco,
Yeah.
Covilhã sometimes.
Yeah. If Charlotte wants her special brand of noodles, you know.
Exactly. My Vinha Verde. So yeah, we'll have to drive for those, or we can catch the train. We are lucky that we do have a train station. I think it's a matter of like 80 to 100 meters tops.
It's yeah. You can actually walk like most of the people that live here, the locals, they just walk on the train tracks to get to the train station.
Like they can't be bothered to take the road up. They just...
it's kind of crazy.
But other than that, everything is definitely a drive. If you want to go to like restaurants, we have to drive.
Yeah.
But I quite like it. It forces us to cook more, save money. It's the price of having somewhere as beautiful as this.
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's not that far of a drive. It's like 10 to 15 minutes if you want to go in.
I think you probably could walk it if you really wanted to go crazy. You could bicycle it easily.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go crazy and walk like 3 hours there and back, you could do that. But it is very steep. We're like on the top of like a mountain ridge, so why we usually go and use the car is because just the thought of climbing back up with shopping is a killer.
It's a bit much.
Like, do you remember when our car broke down in the winter? We had to put bottles of water, because none of our water is drinkable. We have to collect it from a local spring. We have to like put it in our rucksacks or carry one of these like 5 litre bottles. And by the time we got to the top, we were just like dead. Biscuits is cuddling me enough. I'm so sorry.
When Biscuits is bored, he likes to dig.
He digs.
To digs.
This is one that we get asked a lot, and someone also put it in for this video.
Okay, I'm gonna ask the question in Portuguese. Okay, Charlotte, como está o teu português?
I'm nervous now. Okay, eu aprendi português, mas não falo mais. Português muito complicado, mas eu percebo mais. Sim, bem, mas não muito bem.
Okay. So she says that she can basically rough translation. I was surprised there. You know, it's pretty good.
I'm better when I've had a glass of wine because I'm not as nervous.
Exactly. Yeah. So she's saying that she has learnt a little bit. She can listen to it, but it's a little bit complicated. You know.
Sorry, everyone. The GoPro overheated.
It might not be the exact same shot, but it's going to work.
Yeah.
And I was snacky, so I got myself an apple from the tree. So
delicious.
There you go.
But we were talking about speaking Portuguese. Yeah, it's just complicated. There's female, male, which I actually don't struggle with that much. But then there's like, say, to have, for example, instead of saying, so it'll be eu tenho, and then it'll be tu tem. So it was, and then like a different one for another person, and then another one for another. So like, they is in male, they, as in singular, and then there's like plural.
Plural, yeah.
Nós, which is us, or we. Anyway, it's complicated, and I'm getting used to that. But I think I'm getting a little bit better every day.
Charlotte knows the basics, you know, if it's something in female that ends with an A, something male that ends with an O, but it's just like knowing what to use, how to conjure the verbs, having that knowledge. But she's doing a good job, you know. Like the other day, she went out for a walk with the neighbours, and she managed to have a chat with them. And
I surprised you the other day when we got drunk down at the local little pub, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was just chatting away with this guy, and like on the way home, Carl was like, "Since when did you speak Portuguese?" That was quite fun. Yeah. But definitely, I think one of my biggest like drawbacks is that I get too nervous. So when I've had a drink and I'm not that worried, I actually talk better Portuguese, which is funny. Are you going to get chickens?
Not right now.
Yeah.
That we're thinking of. We did do a little bit of searching on the local window market. You can get, I think,
like a small flock, including like a male.
A rooster. It's like 6 to 8 chickens.
Yeah.
You can get them to 40 to 50. It's 40 to 50
euros. So cheap.
for the chickens and the male roosters.
Yeah,
So.
and we do have a chicken coop on the side of that barn.
Yeah.
The main issue is, first of all, money at the moment. We've got enough animals as it is, like going to the vets all the time, like adding more feed and stuff. I just want to be a bit more financially secure. And then also, once you get chickens, it's hard to travel because you have to get someone to look after them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we can just ask the neighbour to pop by.
She's great.
The actual chicken coop is fine, like, because even if the chickens jump out of the walls, as long as they know that there's food there and you have the rooster, then it's fine, honestly.
I think it's just, but I don't think it would be 100% waterproof.
Oh, no, and things
she'll need
like
to put
that.
a gate to stop foxes getting in through the side at the moment.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty structurally sound, to be fair, that little bit. It'll probably need a new roof, but we could do that ourselves because it's tiny. Yeah, but we do want chickens to use up scraps and get eggs from, but not yet. And I do eventually want a donkey. Or two.
He's a silly sausage.
I want a donkey!
How well do we cope with being close to the train?
Yeah, fine. Like, we're used to being woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
To be fair, actually, they don't run that late at the moment, do they?
No.
It's around Christmas they were running more trains for, like, travelling food and stuff. Also, with this train line, it's so quiet, and apparently they're building another line in the area that's going straight to Garda from Lisbon. So all the big diesel trains that are coming through here at the moment, which are the annoying ones, like the loud ones, those won't be coming through soon.
And those are the industrial ones that carry diesel and car and supplies.
There is one that literally is like just cars.
It's got like 40 cars in it. It's crazy.
Well, per carriage.
Per carriage, yeah.
And there's like 10 carriage. It's really bizarre to look. I kind of like that. It's funny. But yeah, it's not really a big issue for us.
Because
we don't run very late.
Nah. And the thing is, most of the trains, I think there's some sort of airplane or something.
Yeah, a bit rude, mate. I'm trying to film a video here.
Most of the trains will last for like 10 to 15 seconds because they're so small anyway, and then by the time that they come through. And also the good thing about our property is that when they come through, let's see, so from the south over to the north, right?
Yeah.
That there's a tunnel that actually filters a lot of the sound.
Yeah, because we're on the
ridge. Which is great, you know.
Just go through.
Yeah. So, what did you do before moving to Portugal?
We actually both worked for the same company for a long while when we were in southeast London. I did love that company, to be fair. We made so many friends there. They make amazing food. I was a manager of one of the branches. They're like a brunch cafe kind of thing, but like for hipsters. Amazing eggs. It's their egg cafe, but it was crazy busy. Like, it was such a thing. And I used to manage one that was in a train station. So like, we're talking like in the first 3 hours, I don't think I'll say how much exactly, but let's just say we made like a lot of money in the first 3 hours of the day.
So the train station that you were working with, it connects southeast London, and it's the only train line that goes into one of the main train lines going into London.
There's Victoria Station and London Bridge Station it takes you to. So
it takes you to both of them in just one line. So Charlotte, we used to wake up, we used to go out partying, let's say until 3 a.m. We used to wake up at 5.
Not every day. I used to earn like some extra money playing music in like local pubs and stuff. And then
relevant to the question.
Yeah, thanks.
And
then like we'd go to sleep for a few hours.
Yeah, we
wake up at
5. We'd have to be in at 5:30. 6 o'clock, there were people lining up outside the door to catch the train, and from 6 o'clock till 8, it was a queue of people non-stop. You know.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to give away like the money. Like, I worked out roughly how many coffees you would have to make that kind of money back then. And I was working it out, in 3 hours you would have to make around 300 coffees.
Yeah, so that's 100 coffees per hour, essentially.
It was insane.
So per 10 minutes,
Sometimes you'd have 2 people on the machine, but
Yeah.
usually it would just be one person literally just churning it.
Yeah.
If I was exhausted, and when COVID came along,
You
we
can't
were like,
say it.
you can say it now. It's
You
fine.
can?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can. But yeah, we were like, what are we doing? We need to leave. This is too fast. It was crazy insane.
It was
And
a
we
bit
moved to
much.
Hertfordshire, and I did a similar job for a while until we moved here. Yeah. We'll get into that a bit more in a later question. The woe is me question.
Okay, alright, this is my handwriting, I apologise.
Yeah.
So, how expensive is it to live in Portugal?
Ow!
In general.
So Lucky just dived on my foot.
Lucky, what are you doing? What are you doing, sausage, huh?
He doesn't want to be up here.
Yeah.
He wants to be playing with his brother.
Go on,
bye.
Big jump. So to answer the question, there's 2 ways of answering this, really. I mean, if you're traveling and you come to Portugal, for the most part, things are going to be extremely cheap, and it's going to be, you know, like food-wise, like accommodation. Yeah.
It's cheaper than London for sure.
Yeah. But so for people that live here, just to give an idea, if 2 people have a steady income, you should be fine for the most part.
In this part of Portugal.
In this part of Portugal, so that assuming that you are paying your mortgage, paying car, electricity, water, etc., you'll be fine. As long as you're like careful and you aren't going out and getting takeaways, because it's not a big thing here in Portugal, it's fine for the most part.
As for us, and if you want to live like we do, it's definitely cheaper.
Yeah.
So obviously our land was really cheap. We don't have a mortgage. So we don't have to pay rent or a mortgage. That's nice. That takes a massive chunk out of our bills. When we're in London, you have to pay $750 a month for a room.
It was crazy.
Which is like, honestly, I think 750 to 800 is what we would spend per month. Right?
In bills, so in bills in the UK, so let's assume, so Charlotte was a manager, so she used to get more money.
I think the quality of life overall, in terms of what you get for your money here, is just way better.
Exactly.
The minimum wage, I think, is, once you've got all your extras included, is around 800, right?
Yeah.
I think they say it's like 750, but actually they legally have to pay your food.
Yeah, well, what it is, so minimum wage after tax is 640, which is not that much. Some companies will pay you extra for the petrol and food allowance, so you can use that money.
The food allowance is legal.
The food allowance and petrol, and then in my case, you also get paid the extra each month for Christmas pay.
Yeah, so there's a Christmas bonus and a holiday bonus.
Yeah.
The idea is in June you get your holiday bonus, and around December you get your Christmas bonus. But some people just pay you extra
each
per
month,
which is what you have.
Yeah.
So
it's like getting paid an extra month on top. So you just calculate however much you're going to receive at your work. You add in an extra month and then you divide it by 12. That's how much the extra is going to be.
Bills wise, we've got the electricity bill at the moment, and then our phone and internet is all one bill, which is roughly 55.
So 50. It's supposed 50 to 55.
It was slightly higher this month for some weird reason.
I had to call. I had to do some calls at O2. So yeah.
Right. So that's like 55. So once the electricity is gone, our bills are £55 per month. And we grow our own food. So, yeah. Petrol is quite expensive at the moment. We usually go for like a tank and a half, I want to say.
Yeah, so we do about...
in the summer when you're going to work loads.
Yeah, so I do catch the train back, so it does help out on the petrol. But if you add in the train money and the petrol money, it's roughly about 120, 130 a month.
Yeah, we are rural. We do spend a lot on petrol. So it's cheap to live here. It's mortgage free. That's the life we wanted. We're here. We're living it.
We're living our best lives.
Talking of which, I need to top up.
Top up your wine. I'll be reading the next question, and she tops up her wine. What do you think of Portuguese food? Any favourites?
Well, as Carlos said earlier, he loves the food.
I will give out my, I guess, 3 favourite dishes that I love to eat in Portugal. So So the first one is carne de porco alentejana. So what it is you have pork meat, okay, and you have some clams, all cooked in the same pan, and you have potatoes in the bottom. You just kind of chuck it all in and you cook it.
I'm worried that's blocking your face. Sorry,
That's okay,
everyone.
that's all right. But yeah, so it's pork meat, clams, potatoes. You fry it up, lots of garlic, lots of olive oil, and you put some pickles in it. Really good. I love it. Such a home comforting food. My other one that Charlotte also likes, the next one as well, is good old duck rice,
Oh, yeah.
like a arroz de pato. Essentially, you cook a whole duck, or not a whole duck, but part of it in a pan for 24 hours. You get rid of.
Hold up.
Is it the whole
Yeah.
duck?
Oh, what is it? Hold up.
Arroz de pato. To get a whole duck, you cook it the night before, and you use and then once it's finished, you take off the meat that's inside of the duck. You set it aside. The water that you use from the duck, you use that to cook the actual rice. Okay. Once you have those two things, you pick up a big tray. You put the watery part of the rice on the bottom. You cut a chorizo. You put the chorizo in the middle. Then you put the dry bit of the rice with the duck. You put that on the top, and then you cut more chorizo. You put it on the top, and then you put it in the oven and bake it, and it's really good.
Goes really well with this.
It goes really well with thing. And then my other favorite one would be a good old-fashioned bitok. You know, if you go, you can find it at...
It's a classic.
It's a classic, isn't it? Any restaurant at all in Portugal, you'll have a steak. It's normally like not the best type of steak, but it's just like a lot
It's the way they
cheaper
cook it.
cut
Yeah.
and everything. That they'll put give you a massive portion of it with an egg on top, rice, salad, and rice, salad, and chips with it.
Yeah. Also, like the steaks here, I always find they've been cooked in like a bit of garlic, a bit of onion, some herbs, maybe a little bit of white wine sometimes. It's really, really tasty. Yeah. I eat steak most times we go out. Like, it's just good. My three are probably very different.
Ooh.
Honourable mention, well, we have to mention chorizo asado.
Okay, classic.
Which is, you get a big, like, boat, fill it with alcohol, stick a chorizo on the top and set fire to it, bang in, dip your bread in and the oil and, oh. That with just some salad, load of local cheese, some bread, Lucky's causing carnage, yeah, banging. One that I just remembered, I completely forgot about, it's particular to this area, especially like in the Serra da Estrela area, is beef de pastor. Oh my god. So, you get a steak, and then you keep, like, cover it in this like meat, red wine gravy, and you melt local Serra da Estrela cheese into that. It's so good. And usually that comes with actual vegetables and rice. So, yeah. I've only managed to have this properly once, but it was phenomenal. Is bochechas, which is local to the Alentejo, and it is pork cheek cooked in red wine. And that was just stunning. Like, I mean, we did accidentally turn up in a Michelin star restaurant. I had it, but it was so good, so good. I think it's arguably like the Alentejo's most famous dish, right?
Yes, exactly.
Incredible. I do want to also mention, I really miss the seafood down in the Elgarve. Like, that's something I miss, and like just a big fat tuna steak, Elgarve style, or arroz de marisco. They are banging.
Any of those, because I mean the fish is good here, but it's not fresh. They have to freeze it or bring it in the next day.
Yeah, whereas
basically.
there it was so fresh. I do miss that. Really good. Oh, excuse you, train line.
that's the cue for the next question then. So, did you consider moving anywhere else in Portugal? What about countries? Oh,
Yeah.
so basically anywhere else outside of Portugal, right? Where did you want
and
to move
also, was there anywhere else in Portugal we looked?
Right.
Which there was, actually.
Yeah.
When we were looking for another place, because we were realising the Algarve was coming too expensive, one area I was looking into is the far west coast of the Algarve, because it's a little bit cheaper out there. I was looking around the Monchique mountain a lot.
Yeah.
That is stunningly beautiful. But it was still a little bit too expensive. We were again looking around like 80,000 for a smaller piece of land. But that is beautiful around there. And then I was looking in the Alentejo around, is it Montserrat? Is that what you call it?
Montserrat.
Yeah, I was looking there because that place looks beautiful. And then I found this place. And then we came and had a look at the area and it was stunning. The drive here, we were like, this is wild. Like, it's so rural here. And then the land was beautiful, so it was just like, yeah, to hell with it, we're moving here. Yeah. I love that we're so close to Serra da Estrela as well. So.
Outside of Portugal, we were thinking of going to Yorkshire.
I know, that sounds so weird. I took Carlos on holiday to Haworth in Yorkshire. And we were like, this is stunning. There's loads of great restaurants. Everything's so cheap compared to London. So we were tempted by there for a little while. We
actually found a pub that had to be renovated. It was only 120,000 for it.
With 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
A pub in Haworth, which is stunningly beautiful. Like, it has an old vintage railway with like an old steam train. It's so cute. If you ever want a little break in the UK, please check out Haworth. It's the hometown to the Brontes, and you can do like a walk through the moors up to the like ruins of this building that inspired Wuthering Heights, which is why I love it as well, because I love Wuthering Heights. So yeah, and if I was going to move anywhere, I've looked into it. So my family originally from Tuscany in Barga, and I have looked at places there before.
Ooh, look at you go.
Yeah, I really love there, and again, it's like this sort of place is quite cheap.
I mean, this is quite similar to that.
Very similar.
In terms of the wine, the food, and the terrain and everything. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Are we fully off-grid? Well, the definition of off-grid by lots of people is that you only have to pay for one supplier a month.
Is it actually?
Yeah. That is the definition.
Yeah,
so we don't pay for the water because we've got our own spring.
Yeah.
We don't. Well. Yeah, we've got the land paid for in the house and everything's paid for. The only thing that
our sewage system.
The sewage system.
A big old tank.
Yeah, it's like a septic tank.
Is still dodgy. We still haven't quite fixed that, but we'll work it out.
It seems to be better. They're doing
definitely better after a few changes. Yeah.
Exactly. So the only thing is electricity and the internet. Those are the only 2 things that we are paying for. But
we're getting solar in the very near future. Yeah. Like literally just before we started filming this, Carter's having chats. We have a date. And yeah. Exciting Very
stuff.
soon. Do you see yourself living in Portugal forever? Probably, but never say never. I never thought I'd leave the UK, but I did. But we're very much invested in making this place like a business eventually, so we'll be pretty tied to it.
I think most people will buy a property or a house and do it up, sell it and go in the property chain, but we just had the luxury of finding this lovely place.
It's wonderful
here, and you know we're just going to stick to this place, you know, which is lovely.
What was your most successful crop / harvest this year?
Well, I would say the cherry tomatoes.
In terms of abundance.
In terms of abundance, that's a word I don't listen to it like every day.
It's a good one though, isn't
it? It's a good one. We had so many, we just planted them, we weren't expecting, they just grew out of nowhere.
We planted 4 plants only, and we legit got hundreds of tomatoes.
It was crazy.
Excuse me. But do you measure it by abundance alone? Because they were tasty, do not get me wrong, but do you also measure by taste?
Okay, so for you, what was the most successful?
Most tasty, hands down, was the white peach at the end of the house. That just made us so happy for a good month and a half.
Yeah, it's
literally just a few meters there.
A couple meters from there. This is a fun story. When Charlotte moved in to the house, because I was still in my old job in the Elgarve, the neighbors came by and they fixed that tree because there was like a main
split. Yeah.
What do you call the bit in the middle?
The trunk had split.
The trunk. There was a trunk that had split. The neighbors got some cord and they tied it up, and because of that, they managed to save the tree. And oh my goodness, even they know that these are the best peaches ever. Yeah, they're like white peaches.
Yeah,
And they're
so
so
tasty.
good, and it's ruined peaches for us. We can never buy peaches from
Honestly,
the supermarket.
afterwards I was missing them and I was like, let's get some from the supermarket to have for breakfast. I always have like a little bowl of yogurt, nuts and fruit. And I was like, this tastes like water. This is so disappointing. Yeah. Also, spinach was really good.
The spinach was good.
Spinach was crazy.
Until
cherries were really good. We got a
yeah.
lot of cherries, but this year, because of the late rainy season, as I mentioned earlier, the rain usually happens in April, but it didn't come to like late May, June.
It was yeah. Normally, there's still a little bit in the end of May, but cherry season is it's June basically, and the cherries caught rain and they split. Unfortunately,
so we lost a lot. I filmed me collecting the cherries that I wanted to turn into wine, because 2 of them are the ones you make like cherry wine from. 2 of the trees, that is, and I just caught them too late because of the rain. And when I went to go and make the wine the next day, they'd all split, and like it was just like sludge in the bottom of the barrel. It was horrible. So I had to chuck all those, and it broke my heart.
If someone could bring you something from the UK, what would it be?
I have a list. When anyone wants to come over, I'm like, bring some of these things. One of my top ones is Bisto Best beef gravy. I can make my own gravy, but do I have the time every single week to buy all the money? Because a huge beef joint and all that, it's a lot of money. Yeah,
that's one.
Yeah, miss those. The dark blue pot noodle.
Charlotte's favourite.
I don't know why I've
been
craving it so much. Like, I don't even know why, but I will also accept a Bombay bad boy. Marmite. Can't get Marmite here, and it's so good for you, and it's delicious. I don't care what anyone says.
And it's a good source of iron and
B12,
protein.
B12.
B12
it's
as
really
well.
good for your B12. On a bit of avocado toast, banging. What was the other one? There's one more. Galaxy chocolate. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is one of the best questions by far.
Okay, so I think we have a very similar view on this.
Yeah.
So one of the main consensus is that we want to have our own company. Hopefully I don't want to be working for someone else. We want to have our own income.
Yeah.
Hopefully from you two. So subscribe, everyone. It'd be great help.
But I think one thing we both agree on is we want some kind of like eco glamping lodge hotel.
Yeah.
As we mentioned earlier, we can build up to 2,000 square meters here. So I think on that far bit where we've chopped all those trees down, turn those into eco lodges and then grow trees all around them and make that super pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think that's 5 years. I think realistically that's more like 8.
That's an 8 to 10 year thing. Yeah.
In 5 years, I'd like to get at least the other building renovated so we can rent that out to make the money to pay for those things. I've kind of got this idea of the big old stone building. What's the matter?
I mean, it's you should keep chatting.
But like the big stone building that has like traditional old oven in and stuff, I would want to renovate that and turn it into like some trendy farm to table kind of restaurant with traditional oven. Hello. Hello. So yeah, that with like a little shop with like produce from the farm, things like that. We do want to grow. We want to hopefully this year plant like loads of cherries.
Yeah.
So that we can make like some income from that and have like at least sell cherries at first to make money for the other stuff. So.
Yeah, because like as soon as we get the Hermosa problem sorted, it's going to take a couple of tries because they keep growing back. So you have to cut them and do it again and get rid of the roots with a tractor. But as soon as that's done,
we were chatting to someone about swapping some of the big mimosas, cutting them down, selling it as firewood, and they would cut. Like they would use their tractor on that bit of land.
On the
we
land
want
there.
it on this top bit.
Because we get some
like
more sun
orchard.
here, isn't it?
Yeah. I just think it would be very easy to sort, as long as you keep everything trimmed around it. Like all the animals are going completely
They're
bonkers.
going mental. I would want a pizza oven in the front of the house.
Yes.
And in this farm to table situation, I would want to do some pizzas and do some like nice things, you know, because yeah, it'd be a great opportunity.
Want a big pool so that we and the people staying could use it. We do plan to put like a little one, hopefully not 5 years before that, down there, like a little dipping pool. We've seen these big tanked. I think I mentioned it on like one of the first videos we did here. Like a big deck and stuff, which we can escape the summer heating. That
and Charlotte can survive the summer.
Yeah. The idea is we would basically at this point be self-sustainable, running our own business, providing work for the area. The good thing about this area is the tourism side of it is going up because of the Serra da Estrela, and a lot of YouTubers coming here and people are like, oh wow, that looks beautiful. So a lot of people were like leaving the area. I was reading the other day like our local village back in the 90s had like 600, 700 people living. There's now only like 400 people living here.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're trying to turn that, and they're putting money into those sort of things. So there's a lot of local government like loans or incentives to do these things. And yeah, I think it would be a great thing for the area.
And just to add in before we go in to the next question. So basically we can give a percentage of our land to the Portuguese government, and they pay us a percentage per year for local produce. So that's something that we could consider.
Like I know the bottom field used to be used to grow potatoes a lot.
Yeah.
The field just here used to be used for wheat, and I don't think you can grow necessarily a lot of other things or necessarily do anything of it like in that area. I don't know.
What's the next project? Well, we've already kind of spoiled it.
Sorry.
But next big project that we're going to be doing is getting solar panel installed.
Yeah.
It has been confirmed. We've already booked a date for it. Someone's come to check if it's feasible, and it is. So yeah, look forward to it. More news are going to be
coming
soon.
Shortly, yeah. Obviously we can't do that necessarily ourselves because this is like a big full-on thing. And neither of us are qualified electricians, so that'll be someone else doing that.
Yeah.
In terms of what we will be doing physically ourselves, sorting out the bedroom. I started filling it in, but the heat, I just couldn't decorate it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I know I had this big plan to get all this stuff done. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
It was so warm.
So you just have to fill and paint that, basically?
Our bedroom is bright blue the whole way, and I hate it. That will be getting painted. That's one of the new, like, more recent things. Another thing that we're going to do soon is the vegetable garden. We're going to rip it all out and plant in our winter veggies.
Yeah.
All of the seedlings I tried to grow, by the way, the ants stole all the seeds.
Did they actually?
Yeah, nothing's grown. And there's little holes where all of the seeds were.
That's so rude.
I caught them in the act, so I'm going to have to go to the market and buy the vegetables I want. Which is annoying, but oh well. They're only like 20 cents from the market here. They're so cheap. So that's probably our next two like personal things. Neither of them are big projects, but they need doing for sure. Oh, and I want to build some shelves in the living room, which I did mention recently, but I really want to do those.
Yeah?
They're really easy to do. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Who are your next visitors?
Mum and Dad, hi.
Yeah.
We've got a few people.
Got a few people.
My brother's hopefully coming over soon. Cross fingers. And then after that, we've got a mate coming for the Mushroom Festival in November.
Yeah.
We will be filming it. We didn't film it last year, and it is so fun. It's
is,
so cute. I loved it.
And hopefully you, Nat, who's asked for 6 questions, maybe you can pop by as well. You know.
When will you have an address?
So, to address this question,
we know people have been wanting to send us stuff, and we're really sorry.
So we will leave if you want to send us anything.
DM us, and we'll send you where to send it to. But basically, we did try to set up an address.
We tried to set up a PO box in Fundão, which we're going to cancel because we have not gotten a single letter for months.
Other than
you know.
like junk mail from like Audi.
I got one letter from the unemployment saying that I missed that I had a job opportunity when I already had gotten a job.
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
That's how late it arrived.
That I got in there. And
Portugal postal service.
It's pretty bad.
It is a downside.
It is a downside.
Like, it's really bad. I last year Carlos bought me a 30th birthday present, and like my mate sent it way before my birthday, which is in April. We didn't receive it until June.
Yeah.
And they were trying to claim that it was like expensive
jewels.
Like jewels.
Yeah.
It was a chain. It was a metal chain.
Yeah.
Not made of gold. Like it was like a conceptual kind of jewelry thing.
Yeah. Considering that I wanted it to arrive a month or two early into Portugal because I knew this was going to be the case, but it took like 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
So stupid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyone who does have anything, DM us on probably Instagram's the best place. We'll let you know. We don't want to give out our like nearest address, just in case, you know. Yeah, but like, yeah. Just DM us.
Do you miss the Algarve? This is from Art of Casti.
Hi,
AKA,
Ricardo.
Hi, Ricardo. If you've seen the Fisherman's Market, if you've seen the Fisherman Festival video on our channel, go and check it out. It's a great video. We were really drunk. We had a great time. I basically bullied Ricardo into being in the video.
I was in the UK for most of the video.
And we just went out and got drunk. It was great.
It was really fun.
Yeah. So, do you miss the Algarve? We do. I miss the fresh fish food.
Yeah.
To call back. The Algarve, we miss the seafood. We miss being by the sea.
Yeah, for sure.
And we miss
the Tivoli crew.
Yeah, the Tivoli crew. We've gotten kind of used to the tranquility of, you know, instead of being in the ocean, we have the mountainside,
and the waterfalls.
You know, but it's
different.
But it is, I guess, for Charlotte and I, is like most of the friends that we have are based in the Algarve,
or in London, but like in Portugal, they're all in the Algarve.
Yeah. So
we miss you guys.
We do miss you, and I want you to come and visit Mr. Ricardo as well. Will you guys ever have kids?
No idea, honestly. Not right now for sure, because in the winter our house gets very cold and very damp, and I don't want to kill a potential child. Just putting it out there. But also, like, we're not very... We're doing okay money-wise, but we're not like, we've got money to spare. This is going insane over an old plant pot. You do you, babes.
And we have 5 kids, actually.
Yeah.
3 cats and 2 dogs. So, you know, they're absolutely handful. This is the testing phase, you know. If we can survive with them, barely.
How did you meet? This is a cute... A lot of you would not expect this.
Can I have the privilege of answering the question?
Absolutely.
So we met at the London Anime and Gaming Con,
Convention.
Way back
for
in
those
convention.
Who don't know
con. And yeah, basically, Charlotte was really big into cosplay.
I loved it.
She had ears and a foxtail and gloves and everything.
Wolf tail. I was Hollow the wolf god. Obviously.
Yeah.
I had like red contacts, everything, didn't I?
It was great. I will try and get a picture of her. But yeah. So the two of us met actually So I was waiting to have some food, and Charlotte was also waiting in this bar to have like a chicken toastie, and the guys were taking forever, and I just turned around to Charlotte, because Charlotte was also waiting, and I go, oh man, these guys are taking forever, aren't they? She goes, oh yeah. True.
Here's the thing about Carlos is like, I'm definitely like the shyer one. Not that I would necessarily say I'm very shy. I think I have my moments for sure, but Carlos, half the reason I wanted to start a YouTube channel is this man can just chat for days. You'd not know him, and he could just be your best friend within like a day. He's hilarious. You are funny. He's hilarious. He is absolutely. But he can just make friends with anybody in like 5 minutes. And yeah, that's how we.
But
met.
yeah, it just kind of happened. It wasn't, you know. I know it seems like, oh, like I wasn't really trying or anything like that.
No.
It just felt like genuine.
Actually, looking back, like it's quite funny because I was very like anti-man in my life at the time. I'd been through some like mad stuff. Like I daren't even repeat on here. Like mad stuff regarding other people. You right there, bud? Regarding like boys. So like I was like, no, like man in my life. I'm a single lady forever. And then like he was just lovely. He was just so nice. It was such a change. We do have actually. We bought these hats. We bought at.
It was the next day.
The next day.
So the next day at the convention, I go, hey,
I had a pink one, yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome if they had hats saying this phrase that I've got on the hat?
Senpai.
Notice me, senpai. And then I turn around and there's like a stall selling these two hats. Like, oh my god, I have to buy these for Charlotte, you know. So yeah, that's how we met. I've got a pink
one. He's got a purple one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the rest is history.
I think our first train's about to go by.
Mm.
It is.
It is.
Let's pause the video. How can you tell which grapes are for wine and which ones are for eating? Just so we know, like we're all clear, I'm not a professional by any means, but in general, wine grapes are smaller. They have got thicker skins and more seeds. So that's sort of how you can tell visually. Also, they have more sugar, so they will taste sweeter, but they won't necessarily be as juicy as like table grapes, which will be a lot bigger. I usually find like in general wine grapes like are closer together, whereas the table grapes are a bit sort of looser, bigger, more water in them, so more juicy, and the skins aren't as thick, so like it's more nice to eat.
Can you load the car up with wood or pull it along?
I think this one was from our last video. I just added it in, but basically no, we've got some, which is the eucalyptus, which is at the top, which is along our driveway, but they were absolutely massive and we can't afford Fiesta.
Because the logs are so big, the only option that we would have would be to leave the boot open and load the logs in there.
Which is super, it's
but
such
it
a
was
small
so
car.
sketchy and it would just leave everything dirty and everything. So we just wanted to do some physical work, you know?
Yeah, it's good for you.
And to get in contact with nature and to get all these things done, you know?
And also for all the other ones that we were filming, which were down the bottom of the fields, that's not accessible by a car. It's only accessible by tractor. It's like the camera never does it justice, but our hills are like, we're in a very steep valley, our land, so you can't access it by car. So it's very much chuck it in a wheelbarrow and hope for the best kind of job.
Yeah.
But one day we'll have a tractor.
One day. Subscribe if you want a tractor.
Dapaka, I think this is Danny Paul, who we met up with. He was, hey!
Hi guys.
Best place to visit in your area and where do you want to visit? It's alright. I'm going to try that again.
Okay.
Best place to visit in your area and where do you want to visit but haven't yet?
That's a good one.
Long list of places I want to visit. I honestly don't know if I could fit it into one video, let alone a question.
Let's do it. Let's put 3 places that you want to visit.
So this isn't necessarily our area, but definitely next summer I want to try and get there is Jerez, which is in the far north of Portugal. There just looks like there's loads of beautiful waterfalls and places to swim and explore, and it's a little bit cooler than here, so that would be nice. Also the Minho area, which is where they grow Vinho Verde. That looks really beautiful and I love Vinho Verde, that's my favourite. So yeah, I would love to visit there. In terms of this area, there's so many places that we've got planned. One is... Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to say, one of them is the place which is Butters, which translates into butter, which is Anteigas.
Yeah.
It's like, is that the closest town to the Serra da Estrela?
No, it's like in the Serra da Estrela.
It's in the
like
Serra
in a
da
valley
Estrela.
up there. Yeah. There's loads of hikes. There's a great wine/cheese restaurant. You can't go wrong there. There's waterfalls. It's supposed to be really beautiful. It's like where the River Zezere starts. It's just near there, which is one of Portugal's large rivers. Yeah, just looks really stunning. We're definitely making a plan to go there. Probably October time.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, buddy. Follow the Zezere from Fundão, like, west. There's a few more villages I want to see around there. I can't remember the name of it now. I'll put it down the bottom. But there's supposed to be amazing restaurants, and it's where the Zezere River starts to get, like, really steep. Like, valley, like, gorges. It's gorgeous, and it's gorgeous. But they're the places we haven't been yet. In terms of where to visit, honestly, like, I don't think I could pick one best place. I think if you are in the area, you have to go to Monsanto.
Yeah.
Overall, I think that was one of the ones that, like, shocked me the most, like, how stunningly beautiful it was. Yeah?
I'm trying to think, like...
Castelo Novo is beautiful.
Pretty good.
It's a very short visit. That's really beautiful. Alpedrina is really beautiful.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with going to a local village around Fundão. If you're gonna be staying in Fundão, just do like a little bit of search of the historical villages. There's a lot of the is it 20?
I think it's 12.
12 historical villages in Portugal. There's loads of them around this area. If you just go into one of them or to a couple of them, you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
You know.
Algarve's also really beautiful. That's especially like when it's cherry blossom season, around March. I would say go to Algarve or Alcongosta, which is where they hold the cherry festival party.
It's so
that
good
place is unreal. It's just like, why is this place here? And it purely must have just existed to farm cherries. I can't think of any other reason. It's like 700 meters above sea level. It's insane, and our camera never did it justice. Like, yeah, amazingly beautiful. Serra da Estrela in general, yeah. I don't think I have one single best place. Carl's gone to chase the cat. He's being naughty and trying to crawl on the line again. Oh, we did one that we forgot. I don't know how we missed it.
Okay.
Where does Carlos work? You're sitting on my hair again.
How am I sitting on your hair
Just
again?
stop. It's too long. It needs a cut.
It needs a cut. Mine also needs a cut, which is why I put this on. So I work in the hospitality, not too far away from here, basically.
It's in a historical village, of which there are 12, so it's not really giving it away.
It's not giving it away. I'm in charge of doing the breakfast, doing the ordering for the breakfast. In the summer we had the pool open, so I was doing pizzas and burgers and salads and all that. So yeah, that's mainly my job.
Yeah, hospitality. You say in hospitality. Does Charlotte have paid employment? No. Well, kind of.
Technically,
yes. So actually YouTube we are monetized now, and we do earn some money on there. We love doing it. Well, I love doing it.
Subscribe.
We get a little bit from that, and we also have Buy Me a Coffee for anyone who wants to support. Like, yeah, you can drop a little thingy in there. Carlos is trying to make more posts because we got out the habit during summer when he was working 70-hour weeks. Oh, one thing we didn't mention about Carlos is the way his work works as well is, like, in the summer when there's loads of tourists, he was working like 70 hours a week, but in the winter he barely works. Yeah. So
because I have a full-time contract, which means whatever extra hours I do in the summer, I get to stay at home more in the winter. But then in spring and summer I get to do extra hours basically. So
fighting over a stick, sorry. But yeah, what do I do? So yeah, YouTube, Buy Me a Coffee. Honestly, just trying to look after the farm as much as possible in the summer, and keeping the animals is like a huge job within itself, but it's not paid employment. I do odd jobs for farms and stuff every now and then. I did have like a brief restaurant thing. I worked on a cherry farm for a while to get a few hundred in, just to like bump up every now and then. Unfortunately, as I said, we've got a tale of woe. As I said, I used to work really hard, and so when you do that sort of work, to the level that I was doing, you do wear and tear your body away, and on the top of my spine, I have basically worn the soft tissue in between my vertebrae away to nothing. And then when it came to post-COVID, like sudden, like really steep influx of work, like the stress piled on, and one day I woke up and I basically couldn't move from like the waist up.
Yeah. We had to take it to
Physiotherapy.
the hospital.
Yeah, I went to hospital. They were like, you need MRI scans. I unfortunately had a really crap doctor, not at the hospital, the woman at the hospital was amazing, but then I had a male doctor who was like, just pop some paracetamol. So we had to pay for our own MRI scan. And they were basically like, you can't go, no, you can't anymore. I don't want to sound dramatic, I did used to work really, really, really hard. I didn't necessarily do the stretching and stuff that I should have been doing. I didn't really know I had to, in order to keep my body in check. So
I mean, if
I can't really do full-on hours of physical work.
Yeah, and so if you guys are like wondering, so like Charlotte can't do lots of lifting and heavy work for her back. Period. She just can't do it, you know, which is because she's got a condition, you know, and she has to look after herself.
I mean,
basically.
It sounds very serious, like the way we're putting it right now. Like, although it was very serious for a short amount of time, like now that we're taking better care, like me. Yeah. But like,
the thing
Carlos is very good at like. I struggle to do things like changing the beds when you've got to like do big reaches for stuff, and like I struggle that sort of stuff. Like right now I've got like a shooting pain from here right down my arm. I lose sensation in my fingers. And
that's just because you slept funny last night, and so
I don't think I did. I think it's just
just in general.
Yeah, but I've been to like chiropractors, osteopaths, physiotherapy, like all of it, and it definitely improves. Yoga regularly helps, although I haven't been doing it. It's probably why I've got a bit of pain at the moment. But yeah, that's why I don't necessarily have like a full-time contract with anyone, just because I am nervous that I'll end up letting someone down or I'll push my body too far.
But it's also like we chose to do things this way, right?
Yeah.
So
we chose to do this before I had my injury.
Yeah. And it's also because like, so I'm earning most of the money now in the hopes of in a couple of years we can start our own business, and then we can have our own money, you know. It might seem like we're not earning as much as we should do, but then if we were doing it, we wouldn't have this platform, and we wouldn't have an option to earn even more money in the future, you know.
Yeah. This is the thing, if I had a full-time job, no way would I be able to release a video every week like I am currently.
Yeah, I 100%.
We'll take you for a walk in a second, buddy. If you run off the other day, that's why you can't go for big runs at the moment. We're having to retrain you. You're a naughty boy. But yeah, like, YouTube is very much like a full-time job. Actually, like, not a lot of people realise it, but it takes me like a good few days to edit a video. Yeah. And most of that is because our equipment is kind of crap. And like everything's just more difficult than it needs to be. But yeah, I want to eventually like make really good quality videos, and yeah. Not that they are not good quality, but, you know, I want to make them extra special.
Even better.
yeah, level up. I want to add a fun question in at the end from us.
Okay, go on, you can add a fun question.
Oh, I don't know.
Perhaps it's so far, we can add it.
No, I don't want it to be like the sad question at the end. I didn't plan it for that. I just wrote it quickly, and then I realised, oh, that's the last question. I don't like it. Yeah. What are you doing?
What are you doing, Ella? So, what is your favourite cheese, Charlotte?
Favourite local cheese? The liquidy one that you get in north of the Serra de Estrela, the Saya. It's like liquid in the middle, and you just dunk stuff into it. It's delicious.
That's pretty good. And now, last question, Miss Ella is going to ask us is, Guys, so what are you planning on doing for the next couple of months or in the near future
For the channel.
for the channel?
So yeah, what you have to look forward to in autumn. One thing that going and travelling around finding the Pride Fluvial definitely inspired me was to go and find more amazing, beautiful places in this area of Portugal. We're going to go to them all. We're going to find and hunt down the best beautiful spots and the best restaurants. I've already got some on my list. Like, yeah. So look forward to that.
We want to get rid of all of the mimosas in the land, hopefully.
Yes.
We're going to get someone with a tractor, fingers crossed, getting solar and doing the winter garden, you know?
Yeah. So a lot's going on,
A lot's
actually.
going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And next month will be 1 year since we moved here.
That is crazy.
That is actually kind of
That's
mad.
kind of crazy.
Thank you for watching for 100 videos, some of you. That's crazy.
We couldn't do any of this without everyone's support.
It wouldn't be no fun
Yeah.
without you.
Yeah.
So, thanks. But the sun is now setting because our camera cut out so many times. So, we're going to sign out. Leave a comment on any spaces or places or whatever you've heard of in this area that you might want us to visit, because honestly, I'm so up for going to find them. Any questions you think we didn't cover but maybe need to, put them down in the comments below. And a big thank you.
Tchauzinho.
Tchauzinho.
Tchauzinho, Ella.
Meow, 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 meow.
Tchauzinho.
Meow, meow, meow. Should we go for a walk? Should we go for a walk?